everybody, Sandy Hodgkins here from West Meadow Farm in Bradford, New Hampshire, and we are on to challenge number 44. This one is putting on a jacket. So the goal is your horse is confident and calm if you need to move or put on a jacket while riding. And the benefits, this might seem simple, but there are a lot of horses that get very scared if you need to put on or remove a jacket or article of clothing while on their back. There's also a lot of horses that will tolerate this, but they're really not okay with it. This challenge will continue to build your horse's trust and confidence in you and their surroundings. All right, so the common mistakes. Just going for it and seeing what happens. Even if you think your horse will be okay in this challenge, it's important to follow the steps. You never just want to go for it and see what happens. When your horse has a bad experience, it's going to make it that much harder next time. So set it up for success. And then not paying attention to your surroundings. A windy day is probably not the best day to start this challenge, especially if you have a spooky horse. It will be hard to control the jacket and you might get too much early movement. Eventually you'll be able to do this on any kind of weather, but when you start, pick a calm day. And then the helpful hint, when reading your horse, pay attention to his breathing and head height. Sometimes we make a mistake for stillness, thinking that they're relaxed. If your horse is holding his breath and has a high head and tense neck, he is not relaxed. When a horse is frozen or still, they can often explode if we don't retreat. Look for these signs, and if you see them, slow way down until your horse is breathing again and his head and neck are lowered. All right, so I'm just going to throw this book down. And what I've done is I just tied my coat on the back of the saddle. So we'll take this off. And so when you do this, and I'm going to do this with the colt too. I'll show you kind of the steps. I've never did a jacket with a colt, but I've done it with Gus. One of the important things when you do this is that you never let go of the reins. You always have at least one hand on the rein the whole time. If your horse gets really nervous while you're up here, if you can put the coat kind of in their blind spot, which is directly over their head, you'll have a bit more success. Coat on, still got my reins in my hand. Switch hands. There's head's coming down, that's good. And I say stay in your parking spot. This is another thing that might worry your horse is the sound of the zipper, so you want to make sure you've played with that a little bit. So that's putting on your coat. You want to be able to put it on, and I guess we'll take it off. It'll be the same thing, just in reverse. Another thing that if you do these challenges, these obstacle challenges, sometimes they'll tell you to pick up a jacket from the fence or on a post. So we'll do that. So we'll take this off, and we'll go put it on the post over here. Sideways. Back up a little bit, get to where I need to go. Hang it on the post. All right, this is a really practical and useful challenge, so I hope you have a chance to do it and have fun with it. All right, so I have Rocky, and I just wanted to go over the steps that I would do with any horse. The first thing would be the flag, and we've done that before. It's in other videos, getting on things up over their head and around them. And the flag shouldn't always mean go. It should be the intention in your body. So this coat is really no different than a flag. So same thing. I put it up here. Can he see it out of both eyes? Is he worried? Not too bad. I do both sides. Good. And you can see he's a bit high-headed. He's a little worried there, so I'm not going to stay very get in, do it a little bit, and then get out. This should be no different than putting on a blanket. Pretty good. The next thing I might do is put it on the saddle a little bit and ask them to move with it on them. Some horses, they can tolerate it with it being still, but can you move and have it be on? There's kind of two things you have to have going on when you play with that. One is my right hand has to be kind of an active hand. It needs to be asking the horse to go. But then the left side of my body needs to be kind of a friendly and relaxing feeling. So you need to be able to separate that in your body. Tom Curtin, he talks about us having two cores when we ride, a lower core and an upper core. And this is kind of similar to that, but you're going to be thinking left and right. So, this time, my left hand needs to be active, and my right hand needs to be more kind of passive and no big deal. It's not about the coat. Get there. Very good. So you might want to do that on both sides. Earlier on Gus, I talked about the zipper. So, how does he feel about the zipper? No big deal, up in front beside him. So then what I might do, if you had a horse that was really worried, the next step might be get up to where you're going to be riding. So up here, can I move this blanket around? Good. A nice zipper. That's good. So we got the left side of his body. How does he feel about the right side of his body? And ask him just follow a field, change sides. Tells me here I need to work more on the right side of his body for mounting. So when you're doing these tasks, you might find little areas that need a little bit more help. There, he took a big sigh and look and chew. So don't skip that. Recognize it and then work on it. And then go back to what you were doing. He keeps wanting to swing his hip out. He's just doing what he thinks he has to do. No problem in that. Good. I'm going to be aware of my belly button energy. Sometimes you get up on these mounting blocks and your energy is pointed to a certain area on the horse and they feel like they need to move that part. So if you stand with your belly button kind of headed this direction, they might not feel like they have to yield that part of their body. All right, so let's do the same thing up here. His head's up a little bit. Not too bad. Okay. Looks good to me. So I'm going to put the bridle on, and then we'll do the same thing from his back. All right, so all I did is put the bridle on and stepped on. I haven't done anything else with Rocky. And he kind of sits for a couple days at a time, or we don't ride him a whole bunch. So that's nice, he got vertical. I'm trying to make my way over to the coat. Oh, but this is a good time to work on my back up. A little crooked there, straighten them out. That's good there. Very good. Now my focus is headed to the coat. Because I'm right-handed, I do so much with my right hand, I'm going to walk up to the coat. And if this is an issue, then I'll work on this issue. But let's see what we got. Pretty good. Even though I'm going to lean over to get the coat, I'm going to try to keep my weight on this side of my body. There you go. stopping his feet. Just try to redirect his feet. So I think I'm just going to ride around here first a little bit. Allow him to move. Come on, you gotta move. And you see it out of this side. Same thing I did on the ground. It's really important you try not to change. It's handy if in these future challenges, the past challenges I guess, you started riding with one hand. You were able to open and close a gate one-handed. Alright, that's pretty good. Touch his hindquarters with it. Good. Again, if he got worried, I've got one rein a little bit shorter. So if he got worried and he yields his hindquarter, no big deal. There, then you just relax. Okay. There we go. Good boy. I'm trying not to pull on his head, but I also want the rein short enough so that if he got into trouble, oh, I never undid it. Fix this there. You want him short enough so that if you were to get into trouble, you'd be able to help him. Boy. Okay, so let's zip it up here. And at first you do this with a kind of a quiet coat, and then you can do it with a ring coat. There. Alright, that's good. Take it off. I'll give my mom here, maybe a look in too. He's more worried about what's going on outside. Again, always keep a hand on the rein. That's really important. His head's coming up a little bit. I'm kind of hitting him in the butt. Trying to get out of the coat. There he goes. So now he's going to see in his left eye. Very good. Good. All right, well, might as well hang it back up. That's one thing you got to do in challenges. So, everything we do, it's not about the coat. It's not about all this, the thing. He's kind of looking at that mounting block. He's more unsure about the mounting block. So we'll just address that. So you can move your feet here, move your feet here, and then soften when he goes forward. Go over here, soften when he goes forward. Very good. Now to the hindquarters. He's still worried about that mounting block. There. Hang that up. Good. All right, so that's some things you can play with and have fun with this challenge.